The desire that cannot be granted. Ominous. I think that the mind and body are inextricably linked. As I stepped out into the sunny courtyard, I squinted at the delightful sight. Naran is the delightful sight. I see you, Naala. Ha! You were told that you shouldn't push yourself, and yet here you are practicing again.
Haha, sorry. I just can't sit still.
Perhaps because Naran's mind was looking forward, his body recovered more quickly as well. He is now able to wield a sword like this. I'm glad you're feeling better, but I'm going to miss taking care of you. Naran? I said it as a joke, but Naran looked at me with an unexpectedly serious face. His hand is quickly extended and touches my cheek, and my heart races at the unexpected heat.
Were you cooking earlier?
Oh? Yeah.
You have soot on your cheeks.
I'm sure, yes. The feverish look in his eyes unearthed my feelings that had been submerged amidst the turbulence. When I tried to look away, I couldn't help but follow the sweat running down Naran's neck with my eyes, which made my heart beat even faster. Did you get it?
Yeah, it's clean now.
His hand fell away easily, and internally my shoulders slumped. Thanks. Feeling disappointed, I realized that I was expecting him to stroke my cheek like he did in the market. I was so embarrassed that I went to turn around and... Maybe I lost my composure because I stumbled over a pebble, which shouldn't have been a big deal. My body leaned forward and I closed my eyes in preparation for the fall. Into his arms.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Apparently, before I fell, he held me from behind. I felt his surprisingly strong chest against my back, and my heart began to make loud noises again.
Haha, Mrs., you're unexpectedly clumsy.
That's rude. I'm not clumsy at all. I resented his body that easily left me again. Naran turned his back to me and began to clean his sword, oblivious to my inner thoughts. You used to touch me a lot more. It's kind of messed up considering you were married back then and now you're technically free. And now he's like, okay, now I can't. But I understand why. Totally understand. The situation. He's avoiding me. I don't particularly feel that way, but it does feel like we are in less contact than before. If I were not so self-conscious, it could have been a sign of Naran liking me. Maybe he doesn't like me in that way anymore. I was genuinely curious, but it's not like I can ask, hey, don't you love me anymore? Girl, I feel that. Although Surin is gone, I am a widow and in the midst of mourning. And since I had once been embraced as a wife, I was somewhat afraid to declare my fondness for another member of the opposite sex. Then I'm off to go boil the bath. That triple dot from Naran. It was a night when I was feeling particularly discouraged over not knowing how Naran felt about me when I got an unexpected offer. What? Marry you? Oh, just like that, eh? Just out of nowhere. Okay.
Yeah. At this rate, you'll have to choose a different man in 3 months' time. So I'll be your token husband until you find a man you truly want to be with.
Naran, you big dummy. A token husband. A loveless contract. I felt the words fall from my ears into my chest and gouge out my heart. I'm sure Naran has already put his feelings behind him. Maybe he's trying to marry me out of a sense of guilt towards Surin. Given how honest he is, this is something he'd do. But now I've come to resent that honest nature. Nah. Nah, 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 nah. I can't be the only one with lingering feelings, can I? Naran, are you okay with that?
It doesn't matter if I'm okay with it. This is what I want the most. I think there's no better way to make our dreams come true.
Hmm? Hearing him talk about our dreams brings one thing to mind. But after such a terrible battle, I was hesitant to even mention it. Too much blood has been spilled for us to have a dream. When I think of Naran's feelings about his beloved brother being taken away from him, I can't imagine him supporting an alliance.
I haven't given up on the alliance with Roos.
He spoke powerfully, cutting off my doubt. My tongue stiffened unintentionally as he looked at me with eyes lacking hesitation.
Since Bro died, not a day goes by without me thinking about if there wasn't something more I could have done. To be honest, sometimes I hated Roos. But sometimes it occurred to me when I was troubled that there are probably people over there suffering the same pain as I am. There's no such thing as good or evil in war. No matter what the cause, as soon as war begins, all that remains are the deeds of man and sorrow. For a man of Nasla, the country that has kidnapped you, you may think me arrogant, but...
No, I rather feel to the contrary. Not to let your eyes be clouded with rage despite losing someone important to you? I think you're a much stronger person than I am. Were our positions switched, I might not be able to think the same way.
I'm weak. My weakness got Bro killed. If I had just calmed down and thought things through, maybe I could have figured things out internally, the same way Bro knew me. But I was cornered by the enemy and my head was full of fear and panic. I really am a weak, immature man. That's why it's such a pathetic story, but I want you to support me, by my side. Let's not increase the number of people who have to bear this grief.
Naran.
First, I'll rise up through the ranks of the military, even if I have to start at the bottom, no matter how many years it takes. I won't give up until I have enough power to make our dreams come true.
Naran got up from his chair and got down on one knee as he walked up to me. His hand is quickly held out in front of me, and I gasp.
So, Mrs., please take my hand.
This is, unmistakably, a marriage proposal from the man I love. How happy I would have been, as a woman, if the circumstances and reasons were different. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, he still loves you, but he is just kind of trying to put that aside for trying to get some redemption from the guilt he's feeling. But Naran, you're asking me as a comrade, not me as a woman. The heat of his gaze that shot through my heart made me feel sadness on the contrary. While I rejoice in the fact that I am wanted, when I think about the reason, a chill freezes the back of my head. In your mind, I can never be anything other than Bro's wife.
I guess I'm asking for a bit too much. Yeah?
Naran, who misunderstood my reason for being at a loss for words, tried to back out, looking dejected. I gently laid my palm on top of his hand and looked straight at him. You are my dear brother-in-law and an ally of mine. Did you think I'd let you walk this treacherous path alone?
Then...
Let's reach for the same dream, Naran. To reward all the blood that's been shed. In response to my reply, Naran, looking impressed, grabbed my hand with both his.
Then, from tonight onwards, can I call you by your name?
Huh? Ah, right. that's only natural, as a married couple and all.
Damn! The first time he calls us by her name! Naala.
The words I was about to say are pulled back into my throat. The sound that reached my ears pierced my heart with more power than I had expected.
Naala.
I was called again, as if to check the sound. The shock, which was clearly different from being called by someone else, made my fingertips tremble helplessly. He was only saying my name. My held hands became hot, and the blood in my entire body buzzed.
Naala. My wife.
With the words, a soft kiss falls on my burning fingertips. And that was the beginning of my second marriage. Man, marriages are so easy in this country. You basically just be like, yeah, I'll marry you, and then right from there, that's that. I can't believe we just got married again so quickly. And again, it's starting, I mean, they both love each other, but now they're in this weird thing where Naran's like, no, I'm doing this for bro and for her and for like the good of the country. And she's like, well, okay, I guess. Oh, what a situation. Okay, let's do this marriage thing. Take 2. A few days after we formed an alliance in the name of matrimony, we were now sitting around the same dining table as husband and wife.
I'll be late tonight, so you should go to bed without me.
That's a lot. Sounds a lot like what Surin used to say. Makes me uncomfortable. Naran got up at the same time as I finished eating and started to prepare to go out, looking a little hurried. I went around to Naran's side and lifted the sword and cloth wrapping I had prepared on the shelf. As I handed over, I mentioned a recent concern. You just healed up, so don't push yourself too much, okay?
I have to take over. It can't be helped.
Naran was officially assigned to a military unit, and as he said, he would be starting at the bottom. However, to calm the chaos after the commander's death, Naran, who had been assisting Surin in his work, was called up to the top and is now busy with many other matters in addition to his recruit duties. Can't be helped. You're too good-natured. You should take it easy every now and then.
Is it okay to tell your husband to be lazy?
For a husband who works too much and makes his wife feel lonely, that's about right. I tried to say it in a playful way, but half of it is true. When I see Naran working himself to the bone, I worry that he's going to collapse someday.
Sorry. I'll hurry up and finish today and come home as soon as possible. Wait for me, my wife.
I thought he was joking around with me, but... He kissed my hand as if apologizing, and I felt my face flush in an instant. I don't want this heat and sweetness given to me make me forget the purpose of this marriage. And so I quietly enjoyed my first temporary happiness every morning.
Please excuse me.
I sigh internally, wishing I could feel this happiness for a little more. However, I was always grateful for the honesty of the servant who continued to serve after Surin's death. Come to think of it, all those around Surin were really sincere people. Most of the people working in this mansion are in the military. There is no reason for them to stay in the mansion after Surin's death because they can make a living off that work alone. That's why Naran dismissed them all, saying, I don't intend to use up the fortune that Bro left me, and I don't deserve to be called the master of a mansion. The servant said, I'd like to protect the 2 people Master cherished. Now, I also support the mansion while doing sewing and other work. At first, Naran was apologetic, but when I told him that, as a wife, it is natural for her to support her husband, he started to thank me from then on. His words of gratitude are the only reward, and everyone is working hard. In a different way from Surin, Naran also has the ability to attract people. I just want to help out. Instead, perhaps it was the bond with these people that was the most important legacy. A person's sincerity, which is not easily obtained, is more valuable than monetary goods. At least I think so.
Sorry to interrupt your meal.
I was lost in deep emotion when the hard voice of the servant brought me back to my senses. I could feel a subtle tension in the air, and my heart was somewhat aflutter.
What's up? The Board of Inquiry has offered to have dinner with you and your wife. Dinner, huh? The Board of Inquiry must be pretty bored.
Board of Inquiry?
They're the ones who are in charge of marriages and making sure they're being conducted properly.
Unusually, Naran's voice was laced with venom. From the way he said it, it was clear that he was not pleased with the visit from the Board of Inquiry. Maybe... Basically, they're coming to investigate whether or not we're doing the nighttime conjugal activities, right? How do they test for that? Exactly, like... How do you... I've got questions about that. I mean, I understand why, because technically a commoner could just have a wife and not perform those activities, and then the wife never gets pregnant, so they never lose their wife. Which is probably what Naran was planning to do with Naala. Like, for as long as it takes, you know, we're just gonna continue on as we have been. Alright. In the first place, the former king made a law to kidnap women in order to increase the birth rate. He probably didn't want the number of precious women to decrease due to fake marriages.
Yeah. If they find this marriage to be fake, they'll force us to divorce and have you take a different husband.
Don't tell me they'd come into the bedroom.
No, I wouldn't let them go that far. We'll have dinner together and then I'll send them away.
He says so calmly and resumes his preparations to go out. I was strangely and deeply moved as I gazed at Naran's profile, as he never lost his composure. Since the day he asked me to marry him, I feel like he's matured more than before. He's become more dependable, or more masculine.
Is there something on my mouth?
Yeah, a little. I stared at it after it was told to me. I realized I was probably gazing at it in admiration, so quickly made up an excuse. I stroked Naran's mouth to fool him, and the feel of his soft lips made me behave even more suspiciously. I got it. Take care.
Thanks. I'm off.
My heart continued to beat wildly even after Naran left the room. At the same time, it felt lonely that I was the only one who felt this way. Naran has long since put his feelings behind him. This is no good.
What's wrong?
I was just thinking about what to cook for the inspector. I inadvertently muttered, forgetting that the servant was there. I turned my face away from him, which was probably red with embarrassment, and deliberately made my voice louder and more enthusiastic. All right, I'm gonna cook up something grand tonight. If you're free, would you mind helping?
As you wish.
Is what I said, but I have no idea what to make. I have to really put some effort into making it so that we will not be suspected.
What would a wife who's having conjugal activities make in a situation like this?
I rolled up my sleeves and immediately began discussing tonight's menu. Well, this ought to be good.
Oh, such a well-mannered and good-natured wife, and a magnificent mansion. I'm quite jealous of you.
The inspector, who had arrived at the table with a sumptuous dinner on it, offered a compliment that could have been construed as sarcasm. Or maybe he was just teasing us. I smiled and tried to look proud, for Naran's sake, as his insidious gaze follows my hair, which I had let down to make myself look better.
I work hard, but my residence is quite small. Mr. Naran, you do have luck on your side.
Perhaps he is jealous of Naran, who inherited his fortune and wife at a young age, as his words have been mixed with barbs since a few minutes ago. At first, I attempted to engage in banter, but by the time half an hour had passed, I felt so unpleasant that I had to keep my mouth shut. On the other hand, in contrast to me, who was just a little grumpy, Naran was playing along with the inspector, even laughing from time to time.
Yeah, I think I was quite lucky. I was blessed with a good brother and a good wife, and I'm happier than ever.
Right.
The inspector's face tightened in frustration as he returned the sarcasm with a big smile. I felt a little better when I saw it.
Ah, Naala, is there any more wine?
He noticed the inspector's empty cup and quickly asked me the question. Since the evening meal began, I've been impressed with how well he notices things. Yes, I have it right here. While responding, I pick up the wine bottle I'd prepared on another tabletop. I don't think he ever struggled with conversation. That I can think of. I mean, if he likes it, that's fine with me. After all, Naran feels more relaxed than before. This feeling came from somewhere, and as I thought of that, the face of Naran's beloved brother passed through my mind. I felt that the way he looked at his surroundings and how quickly he made decisions was similar to that of Surin.
You're spilling it, Naala.
Oh! I was so lost in thought while pouring that I accidentally spilled some of the wine. The wine dripped not only onto the tray, but also onto the tablecloth. I'm sorry. I'll clean up right away. Whoa. Hello. Yeah? You helping me, are you? As I was hurriedly wiping it off, Naran, who had stood up from his seat, reached out his hand from behind me. Suddenly, our bodies were in close contact, and I was more aware than necessary of the spot on my back which was touching him.
My wife can be a little absent-minded sometimes.
That's...
Well, that's also kinda cute, too.
Naran is just helping me wipe. I try to convince myself of this, but his breath on the nape of my neck and his voice in my ear makes it impossible to maintain my sanity. I even felt dizzy, probably because I had a small amount of alcohol at first to get along with the inspector.
Oh, is the alcohol getting to you? The nape of your neck is bright red.
His whispering lips slid over the heated nape of my neck. His voice sounded strangely I'm fine. I'm not affected. I swear. His voice sounded strangely sensuous. There we go. And my heart started to beat even faster. What I hate about this is he's putting this on as a show for the inspector. As soon as the inspector leaves, he's just going to be like, well, good night. And I'm going to be like, Naran. Naran, the inspector is watching. When I blamed him in a whisper that only Naran could hear, his naughty lips did not leave, but rather nibbled at my ear. He touched me softly with his hot lips, and I almost let out a funny sound. Naran?
Let's show him. If we go this far, he won't think we're a fake couple.
But... I should have been disappointed to find out that it was a fake, but just the thought of Naran touching me set alight the blood in my body. When his mysterious fingertips intertwined with my hand that was about to wipe off the wine, I felt a tingle in my lower back. I finally came to my senses when I heard the inspector's deliberate coughing from behind me. I pushed Naran's body away, embarrassed that I had reacted lewdly in public. You sit down.
Right. If I keep helping you, I won't be able to stop helping you.
I managed to calm down, but his meaningful glances and words disturbed me. Even though I knew he was trying to trick the inspector, I felt like I was going to go weak in the knees. After all, this is a battle between actors.
Seems we don't have to worry about your successor.
I do hope that's the case. I try my best every night, but that's up to the will of the spirits.
Thanks to Naran's grand acting, we were recognized as a ridiculously hot couple. Oh yeah? Good. Good. Grand even.
Sorry.
After the dinner, which was fun in a sense, oh Naala, behave, I sent the inspector to another room, and I was preparing to go to bed in Naran's room. During that time, he apologized to me from behind, so I turned my head. Huh?
Ultimately, we have to sleep together.
It can't be helped. We can't kick such a drunk person out like that. Perhaps taken in by our false passion, the bachelor inspector drank as if he were desperate. As a result, he was so unsteady on his feet that he could not return home alone and had no choice but to stay the night here. Shout out to the drunk inspector. We could not sleep in separate rooms, so we had to play the role of a married couple in the bedroom as well. This is so that the inspector will not suspect us when he wakes up in the morning.
Then I'll sleep on the floor.
That's not possible. Do you think I can sleep comfortably with you shivering on the floor?
But
Then I'll sleep on the floor.
that's out of the question. I'd rather die than allow my lovely wife to sleep on the floor.
That's overkill. The inspector isn't watching us anymore, so we don't have to fake it.
I'm serious.
What?
I'm not lying when I say you're important to me, am I?
Well, I'm happy you say that, but... For a moment, I thought I was being seduced, and my heart leapt. I lay down on the bed, half pouting, frustrated that my heart had started racing for nothing. Hey, come on! You get in bed too! Naran?
I mean, we're just sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Totally. This bed looks way too small for two people. Mumbling an excuse to himself, Naran climbed into bed. The creaking of the wooden frame sounds louder, perhaps because of the tension.
I'm keeping my distance, so you can sleep at ease.
If you sleep on the edge like that, you're just gonna fall off while you're asleep. Don't be shy. You can cuddle up. You can cuddle up. Oh, it's gonna be a test tonight. What? When I asked what the meaning of that silence was, Naran, lying on his back, turned only his dark eyes towards me. I felt like I found passion in the depths of his slowly blinking eyes, and my heart began to beat wildly.
You should be more vigilant. You don't have to worry about me, but some other guy would probably pounce on you.
I trust you, so I'm fine. Rather, I want him to cuddle with me. Maybe you should just say that. It's frustrating and unbearable that I can't speak my true feelings. 'Cause you're a tsundere. Just say it. Hello. Look, you goobers, just stop the charade. Make it real at this point. You're already married. Just continue. Then, as if reading my inner thoughts, Naran suddenly turned and closed the distance.
Really, Mrs., you're defenseless here.
Even though our bodies had drawn closer together, I felt psychologically separated, because the name he called me by changed back to the previous one. Yep, I noticed that too. I'm like, Mrs. again, am I? I chuckle, trying not to show my disappointment. You haven't called me that in a long time.
I prefer this one right now.
Why?
It's nothing.
Why are you holding back?
I'm not holding back.
While saying that, he smiles wryly and closes his eyes. When you hide your feelings like that, it makes me feel lonely even when I'm with you. I tugged on the hem of his robes out of sadness, and his brown eyes peeked out halfway, reflecting only me. As I gazed at him in a restless mood, this time he suddenly pulled me in and embraced me. Naran?
Mrs., you don't seem to be getting it, so I'll tell you again. When a man gets serious, he'll embrace you wholly, like this.
Yeah, I know. But if I said that, it would be proof that I liked Naran as a man. So instead of replying, I pressed my forehead against his chest. His warmth that I am feeling is so lovely that it almost brings tears to my eyes. I wonder what you would do if I told you that I like you as a man. Well, even if I did tell him, it wouldn't change his sense of duty. Even with all of these emotions overflowing out, I can't hug back the man I love. With every breath I took, Naran's scent permeated my body, making me even sadder.
Good night, Mrs.
Good night, my husband. Half was a joke, our usual banter. The other half was my unfulfilled desire.